Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Podium eSports' coverage of the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series presented by AllStar Visuals, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, and SpeedShop51.com. Tonight, we bring you coverage of Round 8 live in the virtual Fairbury American Legion Speedway and Fairbury, Illinois. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight are my colleagues Taylor Burris and Joe Peak. Our producer Ryan Bauer is behind the scenes down to the virtual production trailer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Thank you for tuning in for what's expected to be a big night of racing here at Fairbury American Legion Speedway. And first things first, Taylor. A lot of momentum is being carried forward by one Cameron Merriman. He looks to go 5 in a row with tonight's race.
He certainly has, and it's going to be exciting to see if he can come out on top with 5 in a row. But there has been a lot of drivers showcasing their talents that they feel like they can take it to the next level as we find out more information later on tonight.
And keep in mind, it's been an interesting season with the dominance of Cameron Merriman, but it's also the stretch of difficult tracks here, Joe, especially Fairbury, with its difficulty of being one of the smallest circuits on the schedule this season.
Not only small, it's got very unusual banking. It's very flat across most of it, and then it's got a little bit of banking around the outside. It essentially forces those who really want to keep the momentum up to get right up against that wall from the get-go, which means you're going to see that slick up very quickly. And when it does that, the throttle control of the drivers is suddenly going to be of the utmost importance.
Let's take a look at your Google Earth to show exactly where we are today. Once again, for Fairbury, Illinois, this facility opened in 1946 and is a 3-time UMP Dirt Car Track of the Year. This facility is 0.25 miles, 4 turns around this facility, where drivers will be racing around degrees of banking of about 10 degrees, in particular clay surfaces here at Fairbury American Legion Speedway. This track is also known for hosting the Prairie Dirt Classic as well, in addition to the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, the Dirt Car Summer Nationals, as well as Modified Nationals, as well as many other major events in dirt car racing. But these drivers will be racing in afternoon conditions for today's action. So let's take a look at your race analysis for today's action. Drivers are currently in the midst of qualifying to set the grid for our 6 heat races, 10 laps apiece, with the top 2 heat finishers transferring directly to the feature. The rest go through the alphabet in this series, with drivers competing for 12 laps in either the E, D, C, or B mains. The top 4 advance from the E main to the D main. The D main will see the top 4 advance to the C main. The C main's top 4 to the B main, where the top 8 will battle for the feature. The top drivers will then in turn be racing for 35 green flag laps in a 20-car grid. That's all subject to change based on car count, but we already have 54 drivers setting qualifying times for tonight's action at Fairbury American Legion Speedway, Taylor. It's a very stacked field of drivers once more, and it's a very deep field. Times right now in the 11-second bracket for a majority of the field.
It certainly is. It just shows the speed and how fast these drivers are showcasing their talent here tonight at Fairbury Speedway. We're going to be seeing drivers utilizing different grooves throughout the entirety of this race. Some right up against the wall, some hugging up against those tire barriers on the inside lane of the racetrack as they continue on here tonight throughout the rest of the features.
And Joe, when it comes to tonight's heat races, especially with the importance of track position in this series, what are your expectations when the green flag flies for these first of these heats?
I think there's going to be those who are panicking on trying to get that track position, and there are those that will try and take it as calmly as possible, knowing that if they get a decent position in their group, obviously it's going to put them a little higher up in that alphabet soup, and so that'll help your chances immensely in getting to the feature race. But ultimately what it comes down to is just that raw pace in the end.
Drivers have finished up qualifying for tonight's action, and it's Jacob Denny who recorded the fastest time in qualifying by 12 one-thousandths of a second. He was your pole sitter. He gets the reward of being the first car in heat number 1 with an 11.385 in qualifying. Michael Howland will start in 2nd position. Mick Minot will start in 3rd with Kevin Hanley in 4th position. Finney Sansone will start in 5th with the Axion starting in 6th position. William Kemp in 7th with Glenn Reinhardt, Joey Laducier, and Dylan on deck. Rounding out the 10 drivers of note, the 56 didn't set a qualifying time for tonight's action. Now, Taylor, your expectations for heat number 1, as this is a talented field that's shown a lot of momentum of recent times, including Jacob Denny in particular, where he's been really picking up the pace in recent weeks.
He certainly has, Justin. Jacob Denny is probably one of those drivers to keep an eye on tonight here. Also, though, Michael Heilemann and the Heilemaniacs are going to be excited to see what he can do if he can work his way up through the field. And then, of course, Vinny Sansone, another fan favorite in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship. Keep an eye on him. He'll be starting in the 5th position.
Going to be interesting, of course, Denny experience in the Dirt Midgets as well in real life in sprint cars with the non-winged. As drivers are now getting all set to go, drivers have also been told that the starting zone for these heats will be where you'll see an orange block on the outside of turns 3 and 4. That will be the first of those blocks that will allow the drivers to launch for tonight's action. Who do you think has the best shot overall to advance here as a result here, Taylor, in this one?
Ooh, that's a tough one right there, Justin. There's so many good talents here tonight. Jacob Denny, we talked about, Michael Heilemann are probably the 2 strongest favorites. But don't forget, Vinny Sansone, Mick Benoit also are some great drivers to watch here tonight as well. Both of them starting inside the top 5.
Green flag is out. We're underway for heat number 1, and Jacob Denny already rounds the bottom of the racetrack. One driver already tapping the wall. It's Michael Heilemann, who's been shuffled to 3rd. It's picked Mick Benoit, who's already up to 2nd position after the first lap.
As we watch the battle right now, Jacob Denny still holds on to the race lead as they work out of turn number 2. You're on board with Michael Benoit from Quebec, Canada. He's moved up to the 2nd position as they work off turn 4.
Both of them trying to slow roll that bottom of the racetrack. Vinny Sansone in the D1RT racing machine also doing the same. Michael Heilemann preferring the cushion. Just slammed the cinder blocks, though, on the outside of 3 and 4. Heilemann has been shuffled all the way back to 6th position after the first couple laps.
Here they come. Michael Heilemann has dropped back to 6 as they work their way through. Jacob Denny and Mick Benoit, your top 2. Vinny Sansone, Kevin Hanley are trying to work different grooves as they rocket off turn 2, side by side for 3rd.
That's again in battling for position for the chance to try and get towards those bubble spots. Sansone reaches halfway in 3rd position. Denny, though, has led every single lap so far. One driver to dodge on the front straightaway. It's William Kemp. He gets out of the way, clears on by as Sansone shuffles to 4th.
Here they come off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Kevin Hanley trying to work that outside line. He gets a good runoff. He's going to go side by side with Mick Benoit, but still can't quite make it clear. 3 wide off turn 2.
Hanley nearly hits the outside wall, coming to 2 laps to go. He tries to run the outside, takes it away along the cushion, goes to the middle of the racetrack for the bubble position. Side by side as Benoit tries to clear on by. Can't get side by side, coming to the white flag this time by Denny, holding on to the point for the white. Can Hanley hold on to 2nd is the big question. He's now been able to gain a ton of momentum in these final couple laps, but he defends to the bottom in 3 and 4. Jacob Denny, Kevin Hanley will move on directly to the feature. Mick Benoit finishes in 3rd position. Sansone in 4th. Jan finishes in 5th position. Michael Heilemann finishes in 6th after starting the outside front row. On deck finishes in 7th with Reinhardt, Laducier, and Kemp. Your 10-car field for heat number 1, Taylor.
And with that, we go ahead and move on to heat number 2. Myself and Joe Peak will bring you the coverage of that, but let's go ahead through your full field rundown for the starting lineup. Rico Robles will be starting on the pole, followed by Brandon Matson in 2nd. Mason Hannigan, the Little Hurricane, in 3rd position, followed by Felix Roy in 4th. Eric Wilkie will be starting in the 5th position, followed by Cameron Merriman in 6th position. John Fall will be starting in 7th, followed by Trey Galgan in 8th, and Reggie Regenball will be starting in the 9th position. Joe, a lot of exciting things we saw in heat race number 1, but what can we expect with a new batch of drivers for heat race number 2 now after that first run?
Well, probably a lot of bottom feeding, if I'm honest. From what we saw in that first round, we had a lot of valuable information fed to this entire pack, and it seemed like the bottom line is currently working best. Now, that's going to keep changing with each heat, but that's why you really want to pay attention if you're not out there driving.
Going to be interesting to see who will be able to pay attention, who will be able to stay out of the barriers when we get things started here for these 10 laps for heat race number 2. As we watch, we do have a couple of World Championship, and of course the biggest one, Cameron Merriman, who is a 4-time defending race winner so far this season, looking for win number 5. out of turn 4, waiting for the green flag, is out, and we are underway for heat race number 2. Down to the inside of the racetrack, Rico Robles trying to hold on to the race lead. A little bit of contact as they work off of turn 2, but as they dive it into turn 3 and 4, it is going to be too wide for the race lead.
Madsen is being awful brave. He cut all the way across the track, and he's actually might get the lead away from Hangman, but it doesn't look like Hannigan's going to give it up. And Robles is up there trying to fight around the higher side of him.
As they work, we're still 2 wide, 3 wide for third as they rocket off turn number 2. It's going to be Mason Hannigan, the little hurricane, holding on to the race lead as they work their way down the front straightaway here. Here comes Rico Robles in the 3 with as well the number 31 or 91 also working off turn 2.
Hannigan really trying to work that bottom line. So far it's working, but as they shoot off the corner, that finish line is pretty far down the straight, and Felix Roy's been taking it with all the speed that he can carry off that higher side.
Ooh, trouble for Rico Robles. He hits the outside wall, and a couple of other cars going around. I think I saw, looks like to be John Fall, Trey Galgan, who made some issues with contact, but as they continue on their way, right now it is Felix Roy and Mason Matt Hannigan, your top 2.
It's monkey see, monkey do right now. Everybody migrating to the top now, as it seems like the higher side is the preferred one. Side by side for the lead. Hannigan to the outside as he's got Roy down to his inside. He's going to drop back, but then tries to take it down low just to see if he can get through. Not quite yet.
Still is Hannigan and Roy, your top 2. Robles hits the wall once again. That might allow Cameron Merriman to try and close the gap, but to no avail this time around as they still are working the top side. Mason Hannigan is still running the top side as well as Roy trying to work that middle groove as they come off of turn 4. White flag in the air for your race leader.
Hannigan's got a pretty good lead at this point. It'll take something desperate from Roy, and this bottom side doesn't seem to be working as Hannigan's gonna take the victory.
And with that, 2 drivers move on, but for Mason Hannigan, Felix Roy, they will make it to the feature. But for Cameron Merriman, Rico Robles, Eric Wilkie, Brandon Matson, Trey Galgan, and Reggie Remenball and John Fall, it is time for them to go through the alphabet soup. Joe and Justin.
Absolutely, it's going to be an interesting one now with Cameron Merriman among that soup as Peyton Grease will start heat number 3 from the pole. It's Joshua Berry on the outside of the front row with Tyler Chalk and Aiden Berlin in 3rd and 4th. Carly Cure will start in 5th today with Barrett Kalin starting in 6th position. Dakota Kuhn will start in 7th position. Douglas James in 8th. Alex Bergeron is scheduled to start in 9th but has Dirt Car eSports commitments for tonight. This heat is presented by AllStar Visuals, your home for high-quality graphic design and outstanding customer service. If you're looking for a new racing logo or hero cards, look no further. AllStar Visuals has you covered. For more information, visit facebook.com/AllStar Visuals today. And it appears that Alex Bergeron has made it in time for the starting grid, so he is all set to go to start shotgun from the field, Joe. And this is going to be interesting. A multiple-time world champion of the iRacing World of Outlaws, Nostrum Drink Sprint Cars, has had to work his way through the alphabet soup several times the past couple weeks with varying levels of success.
Yeah, well, him showing up for the heat, thankfully, looks like it'll help him out. But as we've seen, it can be a bit tough to pass, but not impossible. Really, it's going to come down to who reads this track best. Last race, things switched incredibly quick from the bottom side up to the top. As soon as we did that, we saw within a lap or two, pretty much everybody was up riding the berm.
This is going to be an intriguing one as Peyton Gray is among the drivers who've been showing some good speed in recent weeks. Fight side by side with Joshua Berry to the outside for the green flag. This time, iRacing pace truck is off. Green flag is out. We're underway. A bit of a later start this time. Gray's already making his way to the bottom along the berm, and the tires already near side by side for second. Is side by side. Aiden Berlin slaps the cinder blocks on the outside. Cure now joins the fray.
Grease keeps the momentum up, and he's going to retain the lead, but Barry's going to try and challenge him on the bottom. Watch out, because Bergeron was making great inroads to the very, very bottom, all right up to the tires on the inside.
Already being challenged by several drivers. There's a bit of contact in front of him. Kalin goes around. He's able to dodge it. Bergeron, meanwhile, is wheeling it hard on the outside in 6th position, looking to battle for 5th with Tyler Chalk, all while Peyton Grease continues to hold on to the race lead over Joshua Berry.
Berline had some great speed, but he slapped the wall. Just a little bit slide job there from Barry, but it doesn't quite work out. So he's going to have to try it again later. Ducks down low. Seems to like that. And let's see if it works out this time. He doesn't quite get in front of him. He's got to be careful because behind him, Berline is getting very close at times.
And he's trying to slow roll the bottom as well at this point. Alex Bergeron, though, has joined the fun. He goes for the slider right into the side of second place and spins it around. He gets hit. Bergeron goes to the infield and crashes hard into the center block to the inside along the pit lane.
Well, there's that alphabet soup all over again for him. Berline's not giving up on Barry. He's trying to challenge him on the inside. Josh has gone from attack to defense now, at least for about a lap. Now, once again, he's trying to cut down low. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh, and there you can see he's just way too hard into the corner. Has to swing it back out, and this is really hurting him.
And Barry's already been going now side by side once again. Here we got shuffled back to third position. Berline's go to the outside center blocks. White flag is out. Final lap for heat number 3. Painting Greaves is pulled away from the rest of the pack, but Cure now joins the fray. Barry gets shuffled to fourth position. One last set for Cure. 3 wide for second. Checker flag for Greaves. Berline is going to hold on to move on directly to the feature race. What a finish as Cure finishes in third. Barry, James, Chalk, Kuhn, Bergeron, Kalen, the 9 drivers. What a finish, Joe.
Incredible stuff, and Cure did a great job just sneaking into third right at the end.
For Heat 4, it'll be myself and Taylor Burris now jumping alongside as we get ready to see who will jump up into the feature race directly. It's Rusty Kruger and David Holloman starting in the front row with Zachary Brouillard starting in third position, one of the team dirt car racing machines. The Canadian outfit will have a Canadian start alongside with Donovan Lucier. Jason Randolph starts in 5th with Corey Wenzel in 6th position. Tower Miller, Jonathan White, John Helms are the last of the drivers for heat number 4. This heat is presented by Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, the Australian iRacing League specializing in dirt events. For more information, visit Oceanic_dirt_sim_events on Instagram today. Interesting last heat, but it's already been seen that the cushion is developing and quickly here, Taylor. Drivers preferring the top line to be able to make some moves, but you can still complete some sliders through some of the moisture and slick starting to build up around this racetrack down the back straightaway.
It's only going to provide more excitement as we get further and further into these heat races here, Justin. Keep an eye on seeing who is able to get the better jump on these starts here, as well as who is able to send it in deeper through the corners. We saw a couple of cars do that in the first couple of heat races. Now, let's see what happens as we go further into these heat races tonight.
Going to be an action-packed front row for this one. The Hallomaniacs starting on the front row of the outside, Rusty Kruger on the inside. Green flag is out, we're underway for heat number 4, and Kruger immediately migrates to the middle. Hallman immediately migrates to the very top line. Trying to go quickly for the middle line this time as they swap lines as they go up as Lucier goes 3 wide for third position after the first lap.
Rusty Kruger right now holds the line right now as Zachary Boulevard and Donovan Lucier going to battle for third. Here comes David Heileman to the inside. Lucier's in the wall. More contacts happening for third as they see the top 2 of Heileman and Kruger pull away.
Those top 2 looking nice and comfortable so far, already building up a quarter of a racetrack gap. Lucier is already up into the wall. Brouillard also smacks the wall. Brouillard now makes contact for 4th position with Wenzel. They hold on as the top 2 continue to scrap for the race lead. Coming up to 6 laps to go. To the bottom side goes David Heileman.
David Heileman seeing he wants to get an extra position here before we get to the feature race for him. He's going to battle with Rusty Kruger off the down into turns 3 and 4. Right in his tire tracks as they rocket off turn number 4 as we see further back. No one, as we see the slide, Heileman sends it up the track, but Kruger's still there.
Not able to clear on by, though, in the Slick Sim Sport machine as the Swindell Speed Lab car continues to lead with 4 laps to go now in this heat. They pulled away by more than 2 seconds. The question is, which one will take the checker flag? Kruger continues to defend well. Hellman trying to rocket his way up to the top.
Heileman trying to find the way he needs to get around Rusty Kruger, but it might be too little too late. Sends it to the bottom of the racetrack as they enter turns 3 and 4. Side by side, Kruger still maintains the outside momentum.
Trouble for Zachary Brouillard. He's pulled off the racetrack. That leaves 5 cars running in this heat for the white flag this time by. Well, David Heilman tries center, or will he just continue to hold on to second spot? We'll see. He tried to get the better cut, though, coming out of turn 2. Kruger goes high. Heilman goes low. Side by side as Heilman hits Kruger. Kruger still takes the checker to win Heat 4. David Heilman in second. Nussier finishes in third outside the bubble positions, with Randolph, Wenzel, Brouillard rounding out the top 6. Miller, White, Helms did not take the start. To Heat 5 we go. Taylor Burris and Joe Peak will be on the call for Heat 5.
And with that, let's go ahead and give you your full field rundown for the starting lineup. Austin Griffey and Emerson Axum will be starting on the front row, followed by Trey Smith and Andy Hartley in third and fourth. Austin Stern and Coulter West in fifth and sixth, followed by Larry Moody and Hayden Harvey in seventh and eighth. Gage Stevens will round out your 9-car field. And Joe, an exciting heat race we just finished. Could we see that trend continue as we go further into these final few heat races tonight?
Remember what I talked about drivers keeping their cool. That was a bit of a desperate move at the end. I'm just glad that it didn't wind up taking both of those leaders out, and we had somebody else advance on automatically. You got to be careful. Those things can seem fun and exciting and whatnot, but it can so easily go wrong. And not only will you be mad at yourself, but everybody's going to be mad at you as well if you take them out.
Certainly is. A little bit of sportsmanship is also required when it comes to the world of motorsports. Give and take, and I think also we might have realized maybe Highland could have possibly just, hey, I made it to the feature, let's see if I can just try to get it home in one piece. But still, both of them were able to make it to the feature here tonight. Quick thought before we go green flag, who are the ones to watch?
I gotta say that Axum probably has a good shot at this if he stays calm.
Well, with that, we will see who will remain calm, cool, and collective. Green flag is out. Griffey gets a great jump on the field. That will allow Trey Smith on the inside to try to see if he can get the run. But with that, your leaders go to the top side of the racetrack. Griffey, Axum will now lead the field as Griffey is in the wall, allowing Axum to get to the inside and take over the race lead.
Ooh, and that shuffled Schmidt back quite a bit. He's down to fourth and stuck on the inside line. Oh, once again, climbing the wall. That was Griffey. So now up to third goes Eddie Hartley.
Hartley and Axum, your top two now as they work through turns 1 and 2. We see Hayden Harvey in the 55 trying to get to the back bumper of Trey Smith as they slide through turns 3 and 4. Your top two, though, starting to pull away from the rest of the field.
That's exactly what those two want right now, is to be able to just run on their own race at this point. Oh, and Hartley, unfortunately, getting a little bit eager into the corner. He clipped the wall, but it looks like it didn't cost him too much.
Lost some time on the leader, but not a whole lot lost on the third position of Trey Smith as he is in a heated battle with Hayden Harvey as they slide through turns 3 and 4, rocketing down the front straightaway. Harvey to the inside to try to pull a slide job on Schmidt. It will not work out as Schmidt has the outside lane advantage with that momentum on his side.
Yeah, the track is getting pretty slicked up all the way across at this point, so you're going to see mainly that high side favor and trying to find traction coming off the corner. That'll be critical. The more that you can get the car going, well, not straight necessarily, but less slidey, the better you're going to fare.
Certainly is the case as we see coming down to 2 laps to go for your race leader, Emerson Axum, who is now pulled out by about 3 or 4 car lengths over Eddie Hartley in second. The battle for third is still going on between Trey Schmidt and Hayden Harvey. That is just for positions in their respective main races, or alphabet soup as we like to call it later on. White flag is out for Axum as they rocket down the back straightaway.
Already he's coming across the line to take victory here today, as Hartley is going to advance with him, with everybody else taking off for the alphabet soup.
Contact happening between Trey Schmidt and Hayden Harvey as they come across the line, but we're able to go through. Here is your full field rundown for this heat race. It is Emerson Axum in first, Eddie Hartley second, Trey Schmidt in third, followed by Hayden Harvey fourth. Coulter West will come home fifth, followed by Larry Moody, Austin Stern, Gage Stephen, and Austin Griffey, your 9-car field. Justin, Joe, let's see as we draw closer to the end of the heat races.
fact, it's heat number 6 that is next on deck. It's Garrett Halsey who will try and move on from the pole position with William Racine in second. Austin Settleman and Jeremy St. Louis will start in third and fourth with Bryce Lucius in fifth position. Sean Brown will start in sixth with Rylan Gray, the youngster, in seventh position. Nate Vaughn and Logan Mallett will round up the 9 drivers who will look to try and move on in the final heat locked-in positions of the evening. This heat is presented by Speed Shop 51. Speed Shop 51 is an iRacing setup shop which offers individual setup packs, coaching, custom designs, and much more. Their main goal is to help improve the skill level of all competitors across the iRacing platform. Speed Shop 51 was established in December 2020 by Clayton Tilley. For more information, you can check out their website at www.speedshop51.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram today. And it's been an interesting night so far, Joe. We've seen several good battles. We've seen as well a lot of shuffling. But tonight, for this final heat, the top line may be the key line as we've seen so far.
Yeah, you're going to see everybody try and get some space up there very quickly. Anybody who goes low is probably going to be a little bit caught out unless they're savvy. Again, it all comes down to traction. If you can find it, sometimes you can make it work.
Oh, and the outside line try to jump the inside line. A bit of a checkup as the green flag waves were underway. Garrett Halsey, with the good launch either way, is able to pull away with the lead. Austin Settleman is near 3 wide for second. Some teammates now shuffling on the top line, making contact. To second goes Austin Settleman.
Yeah, I think Semmelman has got this working down on the bottom. He hasn't migrated up top, even though he's got a big open space there and to next to him. It looks like William Racine is the one going to try and overtake that. And so far, he's making a little bit of inroads, so I think he might be able to do this. Oh, not doing that, clattering the wall.
Hard clatter to the wall, in fact, loses a ton of momentum, but it's still side by side with Austin Settleman trying to slow roll the bottom. Able to get a better momentum, though, down the back straightaway. Clears on by, goes to the top. Contact behind him as several drivers sandwiched together. They all straighten it out. That was among them Bryce Lucius and a couple of our competitors who got loose. Coming up to halfway this time by, though. The battle is not over yet.
Yeah, Lucius and Lewis, unfortunately, the ones that got into each other. This all has worked out perfectly for Halsey, who is just far and ahead at this point. He's been unfazed.
It's been a strong start to this heat. Can he close it out? Can Austin Settleman, though, get to him as he slow rolls the bottom again? And it seems to really work for momentum for the back straightaway. There isn't a lot of moisture and slick built up at the bottom of that racetrack coming out of turn 2 at the moment.
Yeah, and he's managed to spot that. And you're right. It looks like he's trying the high side down through 3 and 4. It's actually working pretty well. Whoa, behind him, someone absolutely chucking it in. I think that was Lucius.
Sean Brown is now out of contention. He's quickly made his way to the pit lane. Coming up to the white flag, though, of this heat. They pulled a gap of nearly 2 seconds between Settleman and Lucius. White flag is out. Final lap of heat 6. Garrett Halsey has led every single lap, has looked comfortable in the thump machine. He'll come to the checker flag and take first place. He and Austin Settleman move on directly to the feature race, Joe.
Looks like Lucius going to be the best of the rest there in third, with Gray in fourth, Racine in fifth, Lewis in P6, and then it's Nate Vaughn, Logan Mallett, and Steve Brown. Nate Vaughn and Logan Mallett rounding out the rest of them in that race.
And an interesting heat, to say the very least, that's seen a lot of fighting, but that brings us now to the alphabet soup. Glenn Reinhardt will bring us to the green flag for tonight's E-Main. 12 laps on the board. Top 4 advance to the main with Reggie Richenball starting in second. Keep in mind how Alex Bergeron is in third position. That's going to be important for tonight. Jonathan White scheduled to start in 4th. Gage Stevens starts in 5th. Logan Mallett in 6th position. Joey Laducier, John Fall, top 7 and 8 positions. Kalen and John Helms, 9th and 10th. Austin Greffey, Sean Brown, William Kemp, the last of the drivers in the field. Of note, a couple drivers did not make it to the start. Among them for this heat, John Helms did not make it to the start. Near to Jonathan White. Taylor Burris, bring you back in here. This is going to be entertaining, especially with Reinhardt in the TSR machine looking to bring us to the green flag.
It certainly is, Justin, and we're going to keep an eye and see what he can do. Can he hold on for the next 12 laps, or will some other drivers like Alex Bergeron try to get up to the race lead quickly as possible? But John Fall is another driver to keep an eye on. He's had some good speed so far this season. Let's see if he can capitalize on that and move into the top 4.
And don't forget about Alex Bergeron already in a bubble position in 3rd spot. As they get ready for the green flag, up to those yellow cinder blocks they go. Green flag is out, 12 laps on the board for the E-Main. We're underway. Alex Bergeron already going to the middle. One driver already up in the wall. That's Regenball, as Reinhardt already loses the lead to Bergeron. Bergeron takes it away quickly in 1 lap. He's to the point.
Talk about a major slide job we just saw there that Alex Bergeron pulled off. He was able to make it stick and continues to hold the race lead. Lap traffic in front, though, 1 car, as we saw John Fall have some big trouble.
They're already reaching lap traffic, as in the heart of the pack you can see trouble. That is Sean Brown. You were fine on board with contact with Gage Stevens. They are able to straighten it back out, though. Meanwhile, it's Austin Griffey in the final bubble position. He was 7th last lap by. That's how crazy this lap has been.
He's holding on right now. He has a decent gap by about 2 car lengths right now as you're on board with the Carsley, Pennsylvania driver, as he's wanting to get a little bit more of a cushion as he tries to go all over the back bumper of Glenn Reinhardt.
The Up North eSports machine looking for the cut up into the wall. In fact, goes Reinhardt. He collides and flips over down the front stretch. Laducier now moves up into the transfer position. Kemp also collected in the incident. 6 laps to go, halfway in the heat, as already this has been, as tradition, it seems, a crazy heat and crazy main.
E-Main always provides excitement. As more trouble right there for Austin Griffey. He also hits the wall coming in off of turn number 4. That will move Laducier up to 3rd. And now bringing in Bray Kalin into the mix. He's going to close in on Austin Griffey.
See if there's enough time for him to close in the 12S for him. As you can see him clatter the wall down the back straightaway, coming up to 3 to go. Don't forget, there's the battle still going on for 3rd, and they have lap traffic to deal with. Logan Mallett is already left by the top 2.
Mallett's going to take the high side. That still allows Laducier and Austin Griffey to still battle as they now approach him entering turn 1. That's going to now throw the block right there in front of Griffey. He dives to the bottom of the racetrack. Trouble as he collects Braith Kalin.
Hard contact for him coming up to the final lap. Final time around for the E-Main. They continue to scrap as Griffey takes away the spot from the Laducier, but it's Alex Bergeron who will take the checker flag and win the E-Main. Regenball will finish in 2nd. Griffey, Laducier finishing in 3rd and 4th, with Stevens, Kalin, Mallett, Fall, Brown, Reinhardt, Kemp done for the night in this one. That's a look top to bottom at your E-Main running order for this one. Taylor, over to you with Joe for the D-Main.
And with the D-Main, we will see Tyler Chalk and Zachary Brouillard leading on the front row, followed by Larry Moody and Jeremy St. Louis 3rd and 4th. Dylan Odeck will be starting in 5th, followed by Trey Galligan in 6th position. Dakota Kuhn in 7th, followed by Tyler Miller in 8th. Austin Stern will start 9th. Nate Vaughn in 10th with Alex Bergeron, Reggie Regenball, Austin Griffey, and Joey Laducier will be rounding out your 14-car field. Now, Joe, last time we raced last week, Alex Bergeron made it through the E-Main after starting there. He then ended up getting taken out in the early laps of the D-Main. How do you think that could affect the mental attitude of a driver who was in that race a week ago, where he was able to make it through one main, but immediately take it out the following?
Well, I think that gives him valuable information, obviously, because every series is different with the dynamic of the drivers. And if he knows, well, if I just stay patient, especially after that E-Main that we just saw, that if he just stays patient, the race will come to him. There will be other drivers that have issues. Wait for them to spread out, and he can start picking them off one by one instead of immediately getting into the fray.
We're about to find out what will happen to Alex Bergeron and the rest of the field as the field is coming out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Big stack up off turn 4 as cars are going 3, even 4 wide as they enter turn 1.
Tyler Chalk, though, is ahead of it all. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of a slide job from Brouillard, and it's not going to be quite effective, although he was side by side at the line. Tries to go back underneath him. Oh, gives him a little bit of a love tap, and he's going to get another one. Both of our leaders out as everybody in the field goes by except for a couple who pile in.
Trouble here right now. That allows Jeremy St. Louis, Dylan Ondek, Larry Moody, and Dakota Kuhn, your top 4 right now. Alex Bergeron is in a hornet's nest of cars back in 7th position. You're on board with Austin Griffey in 5th position as he's trying to find his way around Dakota Kuhn. Looks to the inside, completes the pass as Kuhn will try and fight hard as Bergeron moves up to 6.
You got to remember in those moments that you just got to be top 4. You don't have to be the absolute leader of this race, as it's very much in the hands of St. Louis right now. Ondek is just trying to make up time and hold off the likes of Moody and Griffey.
Dakota Kuhn clatters the outside wall and spins around. Trouble again for some more lap traffic. That looks to be Larry Moody. Bergeron now is up to 2nd, battling with Austin Griffey.
Yeah, I think he's got this one sussed out at this point, and it's a good thing that he did hold back a little bit there and kind of just work his way through. He's trying to cut off the bottom right now. Griffey up on the high side, just trying to rim ride, and he is going to have the speed coming off the corner down to the inside of him, but now it switches around.
Meanwhile, the battle for 4th, that final transfer spot is between Dakota Kuhn and Joey Laduciere. As more contact happens, here comes Laduciere trying to catch up to Kuhn after making contact with Griffey, as one car is up on its side. That's a lap car, believed to be Dylan Ondek in the number 56.
Absolutely. So now Bergeron basically just has to keep cruising from here. And 4th place still up for grabs. Laduciere and Kuhn are quite close together, and they got a lap to go.
Here comes the white flag in the air. Laduciere hits the wall off of turn number 4 as they try to see. Here's the battle. Kuhn slides it into turn 1. Crossover by Laduciere. Meanwhile, your race leader, Jeremy St. Louis, is working his way out of turn number 4 and will win the D main. But as we watch, Laduciere will get over Dakota Kuhn for that 4th spot, along with Bergeron and Griffey moving on to the C main. For those who were eliminated, Dakota Kuhn, Austin Stern, Trey Galgan, Dylan Ondek, Larry Moody, Tyler Chalk follow then later on as we go further down through the field in 11th through 14th. Reggie Regenbald, Zachary Brouillard, Nate Vaughn, and Tyler Miller. Justin, Joe, after another exciting main, we're now heading up to the C main.
And this is going to be an interesting one with several big hitters in this one. Hayden Harvey and Rylan Gray are 2 of those heavy hitters at the front row. Jax Young will start in 3rd position. Eric Wilkie will start in 4th position. Douglas James starts in 5th with Corey Wentzel in 6th. Coulter West in 7th with William Racine in 8th. Michael Heilman and Brandon Matson will start in 9th and 10th. And then the rest of the field will be your drivers coming from the D main to the C main. St. Louis, Bergeron, Griffey, Laduciere. Those 4 drivers. And on that note here, Joe, it's going to be intense once more because we've seen how crazy the D main got, and with this small track there's not a lot of space to avoid trouble.
Yeah, exactly. It's discretion is often the better part of valor, unfortunately, which is hard to say in the midst of the chaos of this type of racing. It's such a short lap that everything happens so very, very fast. You have to make snap decisions, and there's drivers just running crazy lines around you all the time. So keeping a cool head, I've said it many times, you gotta have it if you want to win.
Hayden Harvey waits all the way for the green flag from Barney the flagman. Off and away we go. Back underway to racing. Rylan Gray already ripping the top line. Harvey trying to rip the middle line. Meanwhile, Wilkie's trying to roll the bottom. Wentzel's trying to run the middle line. 2, 3, 4 wide as several drivers fan out.
And part of that 4 wide is Bergeron, who definitely was not holding back this time. He absolutely dove it in, took about 4 spots in the first lap, and he's already fighting for 5th place. Still, this battle between Yon and Wilkie, as well as Wentzel, is just swapping all back and forth.
Big checkup right underneath Bergeron, and a big sandwich in front of him near contact. Bergeron did get a tap on the front end of his car. They crash right beside him. They're 3 wide around him. Bergeron is up to 3rd, even with the damage. Now it's the matter of can Bergeron hold on to the bubble as craziness ensues behind him.
That was Wilkie and Wentzel. They're going to give a spot to Yon as they once again come together. Yon now on the bubble. If he can hold on to this 4th, my goodness, that was a huge slider from Wilkie.
Wilkie really sending it hard all the way from 10 car lanes back that time on Wenzel, not able to complete the slide. Sends it again, and this time he gets hit. And that was a little bit dangerous from sending it from 10, 15 car lanes back. He is now out of the race.
Yeah, I kind of expected that sort of result, the way he was just chucking that car in. Now Wenzel, who is in 5th, is trying to keep West and Lewis back, as Lewis is going to just get a little bit of cool tear.
That's currently the battle going on for 6th position. That's currently trying to catch up to Jackson, who is currently holding on to the bubble position. You can see several lines forming up. West preferring the middle of the racetrack. Several, though, preferring that cushion. Jan currently holding on to that 4th spot, coming up to 2 laps to go. Can he hold on is the big question. He got reeled in 2/10 last time.
I don't think Gray's got enough, honestly, for this lead. Harvey has just got plenty of space, and I think he just came around for the final lap now.
Yes, indeed, the leaders have come to the white flag. Hayden Harvey has dominated this respective C main tonight. He'll take the checker flag. Gray and Bergeron advance, and as one car rides the fence, it is Jan who advances in the final spot of the C main with a low tap after the checker flag. It is Wenzel who's the first driver out. Laducier, West, St. Louis, James, Griffey, Wilkie, Racine, Matson, Michael Heilman, who will be the 14 drivers, and how they finish in this one. Craziness, to say the very least, once more, but what a drive from Bergeron, gaining all those positions to get into the bubble spots in the span of 2 laps.
No doubt about that, as looks like we're now heading on to the B main. Things are getting a lot more intense here, Taylor. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but one thing's for sure, it looks like Bergeron's got the bit between his teeth tonight.
He certainly does. He is out for a win here tonight in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship. He has not been in victory lane for quite some time, but here is your rundown for the B main. Mick Benoit, Cameron Merriman, the defending 4-time winner this season, start on the front row, followed by Carlin Cure in 3rd, Donovan Lucier in 4th position, followed by Trace Schmidt and Bryce Lucius in 5th and 6th. Vinny Sansone and Rico Robles in 7th and 8th, Joshua Berry and Jason Randolph 9th and 10th. Then it's Hayden Harvey, Rylan Gray, Alex Bergeron, and Jacques Jan rounding out your 14-car field as we get ready to watch and see who will make it to the feature race. For those of you who are wondering, it is going to be the top 8 that will transfer from the B main to the feature race here tonight, Joe. So a little bit more wiggle room in a sense for some drivers, but that also still makes the racing even more intense for those 6 on back, probably.
And this is where the reality of the money that's on the line starts to hit you, and you have to weigh your decisions in terms of, all right, maybe I do need to make the risky move at this point because I have to be within that top 8 if I want the money. For some, it's just about the ego. It's not about the cash. But I got to say, I think we're going to see a lot more desperate moves in this one.
Green flag is out, and they are stacking up off of turn 4. More contact actually happening as they enter turn 1. Cars are going around. Big issues for several drivers as they gather themselves back up and continue on their way.
It looks like Schmidt and Lucius involved, and then they hit each other once again there at the back as we now ride on board. And this gives you a great perspective from Gray, seeing just how insane it is trying to figure out what to do as we go 4 wide, and of course we get some contact out of that.
Contact everywhere on the race circuit right now. For those of you wondering, Alex Bergeron is running in the 11th position, a little bit out of harm's way out of this hornet's nest as one car goes around off turn 4. That looked like to be the 30 of Joshua Berry. Moved Bergeron up to 10th, but right now it's Mick Benoit, Carlin Cure, who are your top 2, as Benoit will have a little bit of a lead right now as they rocket off turn 2.
3 wide for 2nd place, Sansone, ahead of Merriman, who's going to ride the high line. Also, Carlin Cure trying to get involved in that as well. Basically, pick a line and just hope that there isn't a car there.
3 wide, 4 wide, 2 wide contact happening all over the race circuit here at Fairbury Speedway as they work their way out of turn 4. Halfway this time by for your race leader, Mick Benoit, as he holds on. The transfer spot goes to the 24 of Jacques Jan, who's holding on. Here comes Bergeron in 9th, makes contact into the outside wall, but he's still going to try to fight on through. Actually, no, it's into the tire barriers and a game over for Alex Bergeron.
As Benoit leads behind him, things still intense for second place. Merriman trying to find off Sansone, and I think he managed to get a little bit of a lead ahead of him this time as Vinny just didn't get the launch he needed. Behind them, now it's for fourth place. That's Cure and Robles.
Here we'll go to the inside of Robles, moving him up to fourth in that number 7 Rocket Racing setup sprint car as he holds on. Robles in the wall, clatters it, and loses another spot to Rylan Gray, who will pass him on the inside. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4, you will be seeing the white flag for Mick Benoit this time around. Out of turn 2 for the final time, rocketing down the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. A little bit slow on the inside lane, but he will win here, the B main, followed by Vinny Sansone, Cameron Merriman, your top 3, and the last spot goes to Jack Yohn, who will make it into the feature race tonight. But unfortunately for Alex Bergeron, who made it all the way from the E main to the B main, his journey will end here tonight.
Whew. All right. So they'll get a little bit of a warm up here. And Taylor, I think it's time for a small breather.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, but when we come back, we will bring you the feature race here of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship live from Fairbury Speedway. Welcome back to coverage of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship live from the virtual Fairbury Speedway. Taylor Burris, Joe Peak, and our producer Ryan Bauer with cameras provided by Dougie Beer, bringing you the feature race after we say thank you to Justin Prince for helping us out for the several heat races and feature races in the alphabet soup. But Joe, it's time for the big show here tonight at Fairbury. Who are the ones that you're going to be keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, honestly, I see guys like Hannigan, who'd had a really good job in those heat races. And then for those who raced through in the alphabet soup, guys like Benoit, Sansone, really looked in control. They're ones that could be a dark horse. They're going to be starting from the back, but we have a lot more laps in this one to try and do something. And now we have the introduction of the cautions, which really will pack things back up. So it won't need to be as frantic, and the drivers do need to keep that in mind. Now, it's always easier to tell drivers to try and not panic and not be frantic, but once the flag falls, the red mist tends to come down.
It certainly does, especially when you show a little bit of that green in front of some of these drivers. It's 35 laps here tonight. Of course, the top 3 will be paid. Of course, $100 going to the winner. And of course, for one driver, Cameron Merriman, he's looking to pick up his 5th $100 bill win here tonight at Fairbury. And it's going to be interesting to see, can anyone stop him here tonight? We kind of saw a little bit of that in the heat races where he did not make it through, had to go through the B main. But still, can we see Cameron Merriman and his Merriman in order to take home another victory?
I mean, honestly, I would love to make $500 for sim racing on top of whatever I'm doing for a regular day job. So definitely hats off to Cameron for the way that he has been running this season. Goes to show that honestly, if you've got a quick car, if you're a good driver, you might as well hop on to iRacing here and give it a try and see how you fare against some of the best literally around the world.
It certainly is. I mean, we have drivers from all across the world coming here tonight as we are getting ready for the feature race tonight. And with that, let's go ahead and give you your starting lineup. Starting on the pole is going to be Jacob Denny, followed by the Little Hurricane, Mason Hannigan in second place. Peyton Greers will be starting in third, followed by Rusty Kruger in fourth position. Fifth goes to Emerson Axum, followed by Garrett Holsey in the sixth position. Seventh goes to Kevin Hanley, followed by Felix Roy in eighth. Aiden Berlin will be ninth, followed by David Heileman, rounding out your top 10.
Eddie Hartley starts in 11th this evening with Austin Simmelman in P12. Then we get into those who made it through the alphabet soup. Mick Benoit in 13th, Vinny Sansone in P14, and Cameron Merriman starting from that alphabet soup. He's got some work to do in 15th. Carlin Cure will be 16th, Raylan Gray 17th, and then the last few is Robles, Harvey, and Yone.
20 drivers getting ready to tackle 35 fast, high-speed, high-stake laps around Fairbury Speedway. We now see a clean racetrack here. Track state has been set to 0%, so it's a fresh dirt. The officials went out there, made sure the track was good to go. Currently, the temperature is 82 degrees with winds 10 miles an hour, partly cloudy. Track temp 79 degrees, so a little bit warm out there. Conditions, though, in the dirt racing, constantly ever change, Joe.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where pavement racers might be looking at that number and really focusing on that to try and nail down their setup. Whereas these guys, they're not looking at the temperature at all. They're looking at the track itself, sizing it up, trying to feel out where the grip is. And those who can do it best are the ones that are going to be coming away with some cash in their pocket.
Certainly so. Let's see who comes away with the cash as the green flag is out and we are underway. Denny Hannigan battling for the race lead as they rocket up turn number 2, down into turn 3 and 4. Jacob Denny on the bottom of the racetrack, Hannigan on the top side. Coming across the start-finish line to complete lap number 1 goes to Mason Hannigan.
He was very savvy there, taking that high side away. That got him out to the front in the clear air. Behind him, Green seems to be struggling a little bit off the corners. He might lose third because Axum already challenging him.
Emerson Axum has moved up to third, and you wanted the best. Well, you got them 4 abreast as they come down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Here they come out of 4. Cars now settling up now as they're going 2, 3, and 4 wide through turn 1.
I'm impressed with the backfield that we haven't had a caution yet. They're certainly fanning out. And like I said, they are aware they've got more laps to try and make this work. So I'm glad to see a lot of give and take going on.
Give and take now, the calm before the storm. For those of you who are wondering, Cameron Merriman still sitting in the 14th position in the car number 43 as you're on board. With second place caution, though, is out as we see Kevin Hanley and Aiden Berlin making contact together as more cars are actually making contact off of turn number 4. As we get a look at the replay of what happened, it looks like car 88 of Garrett Holsley makes contact with Berlin, which then makes contact with Kevin Hanley to bring out the initial caution here tonight, Joe.
A great job on everybody else to try and avoid that. Could have been a lot more cars with that happening in the thick of the pack. And for those not familiar with dirt racing, a reminder that these caution laps do not count. So they're going to quite literally re-rack them and start over and pick up where they left off.
6 laps have been completed out of the scheduled 35 laps. There is no green-white checkers for those of you wondering. So once we hit 35 laps, the race is over as the field is now single file. Pace truck is off, and we are about to go back green flag racing. It is going to be Mason Hannigan leading them to the green. Green flag is out, and we are back underway here at Fairbury. Diving into turn 1 and 2, Denny tries to work the inside, but Hannigan, the little hurricane, will hold him off as they enter turn 3.
Ooh, trying to cut across. Axum almost gets in front of our leader, but Hannigan says no. Behind him, Denny's going to try and cut underneath, and then once you get back to 4th, they're fanning out, and we got another caution immediately.
4 issues happening further back, I believe. Rylan Gray and Eddie Hartley involved in this incident as we get a look at the replay of what happened. So it's coming off turn 2. There is Rico Robles, and then there is Hanley and Gray, and multiple cars end over end. I give that landing a decent 7 with that bunch of good cartwheels and lands back, but unfortunately for Rylan Gray, he will land on his side, so I had to say no score for that one.
And the driver that split them, that just made his way through, guess who? It was Merriman again.
We can go on board right quick with Merriman as he tried to avoid that incident. I bet that would be a good camera shot as 8 laps have been complete. As we are about to go back green flag racing here at Fairbury. Here's the replay. Cameron Merriman sees the incident. There's the contact, parts the Red Sea and goes through the center before banking it way through turns 3 and 4. But now it's time to go back. Green flag racing. Axum's ready to go, but Hannigan pulls away as they dive it into turns 1 and 2, running that inside lane as Axum tries to work the middle.
Emerson got caught napping a little bit there. He's going to go down low and let it slide up high. That really hurts your exit speed. You got to hope that you can catch everybody out on that one. And we get another caution once again. Trying to figure out who caused this one, and I'm not seeing anybody.
Not seeing anybody either. Looking through the field right now as we try to find... Oh, Rico Robles might be the reason for that. He was coming off turn 4 after a couple of cars kind of cackled against the outside wall off turn 4 and then just makes heavy contact with car 43 of Cameron Merriman, actually. So trouble for Merriman as he might have had some issues.
Okay, here we got the replay. And let's see here. No, I
think this is live right now.
Yeah, I think it is, actually. So not sure if we'll be able to get that, but yeah, it's so hard to avoid incidents like that. And you can get lucky some of the times, but you can't get lucky all of the time.
Certainly not right here. I believe this might be the replay. Yep, here is Rico Robles in the number 3. There you see Merriman in front of him in the 43. Looks like he cackles the outside wall, and then there's the contact between him and Merriman. Collects also Carlin Cure in the incident. As we are now back under green flag conditions, Mason Hannigan gets a great restart over Axum and Denny as they come out of turn 2.
Axum tried to jump it. We got a caution, I think. Is it Robles again? No, I think it's Grease. Looks like Grease had a problem and was actually doing a bit of a wall ride here.
Taking high, wide, and handsome to a whole nother level as he will just rim ride that wall and then up over the wall and then land on his, I believe on his side, then makes hard contact with Rico Robles.
I think at the State Fair you can sell a good ticket for that one. That's they call that the Wall of Death in most places.
Certainly so, and unfortunately I think that might have killed Peyton Greer's sprint car, so another Wall of Death victim here tonight at Fairbury Speedway as we are under caution once again. 11 laps have been completed out of the 35. And hopefully we can, after a decent start, we're now starting to see the old adage, cautions breed cautions here tonight, Joe.
Which unfortunately will definitely fare true because with such short sprints, the drivers are going to be desperate and making big lunges, which ups the risk all the more.
Certainly does, and I believe we are now back under green flag conditions. Mason Hannigan, once again, another great restart, trying to hold off Emerson Axum off turn 2, down into turn 3, running the top side of the racetrack. Here comes a big slide by Axum. Still with the momentum on his side, Hannigan will hold on to the race to lead.
But it's Denny is the one who gets caught out by that. He had to check up big time as it ran out. Heilman down low, going to try it himself, as that doesn't quite work at all, unfortunately. So up at the front, Hannigan doing well, but that last restart was much better from Axum.
A good restart right there as Hannigan clatters the wall off turn 4. That will now bring Axum in a little bit. Now Rusty Kruger into the top 3 as he works the way off to on the top side of the racetrack. Jacob Denny slots back to 4th.
4 wide behind them, and there you can see involving guys like Denny and Heilman coming down through 1 and 2. David just not able to get in front.
Crossover after crossover between your top 2, Axum and Hannigan battling for the race lead. Hannigan will lead off of one corner. Axum will retaliate on the next corner. Axum's lead as they now cross over once again as Hannigan slides in front of Axum. Axum, though, will lead that lap this time around.
This is the first time we've really seen Emerson take the fight to Mason. Mason's having none of it, but he's really had the clear air. This is the first time we've seen him have to fight in a while. And this actually might go away from Axum. He was way too hot into that corner.
Then a little too deep, slides it up the wall. Now Hannigan does the same thing. Battle for the race lead as Rusty Kruger. Jacob Denny watches on in 3rd and 4th. Axum slides up in front of Hannigan as Hannigan responds. Contact.
Just came across his bow, and that was a warning shot. Axum going to try and go low once again. There's the slide job, but I don't think those are going to be working very well today. The more they do this, the more they're bringing along the likes of Kruger as well as Heilman down at the bottom, who are making great time on them.
You know, it seems like trouble for Hannigan. He'll ride the wall along with Russ Kruger, your top 5 involved in this incident.
And the caution was brought out by Hannigan as well as someone on their lid, on their side there. That's Kruger.
Hannigan, Kruger, Jacob Denny, along with Heilemann and also Axum involved in this. This was your entire top 5. So Hannigan and Axum hit the wall. That causes a couple of minute checkup by Heilemann, as well as the 61 of Jacob Denny to make contact. And unfortunately, that pretty much sticks out a majority of your top 5 involved in that incident.
I think Axum maybe got away the best of the group. I'm trying to find the front here. Fortunately, our timing and scoring gets a little bit screwy with the uncounted caution laps. Axum is going to be leading the way, and Denny will be following him now.
And we're about to go back green flag racing here, as Axum will lead them to the green flag, followed by Jacob Denny, David Heilemann, and Austin Semmelman now will bring into the mix, as he is in 4th on the inside.
So Axum's got a great shot at things, and now that he's not having to pull those slide jobs and ride behind someone, he actually looks very confident. He's very consistent in his line. He knows exactly where he wants to go and isn't having to search.
Working down the front straightaway here, we are closing in on 12 laps to go here at Fairbury Speedway. Emerson Axum, your race leader, followed by Jacob Denny and David Heilemann, your top 3. Austin Semmelman, the first World Championship competitor, is in 4th position. And I'm waiting to hear back from our producer on this, but we may, if this goes according like we're seeing right now, we could have our first non-World Championship competitor win in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship. But David Heilemann is going to try to see if he can be that one as he tries to work his way around Jacob Denny.
Yeah, Denny cutting down back underneath him, just grazing the wall. Heilman has to check up, unfortunately, and back out of it. A lot of drivers really flirting with those concrete blocks, which catch you much worse than a typical concrete wall.
It certainly does bite worse here as they work their way off of turn number 2. Lap traffic in front of your race leader as they rocket off of turn number 4. As they come across the start-finish line, 7 laps to go.
This is where Denny's really got to try and do something. Unless he's content to just bring home this 2nd place, he's got to start attacking Denny and try and get him off his line. As I mentioned, he's really calm and collected. This is looking like exactly where he's wanted to be since the start of this race because nobody's been able to touch him.
Certainly so, as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. 5 laps to go as the flagman gives the high 5 to our race leaders. Here they dive down to the outside of one of the lap cars as they rocket down 4 laps to go for your race leader of Emerson Axum.
Interestingly, the podium is pulled away from everybody, and those are the cash-paying positions right here. So if these 3 are happy with what they're going to get, they could just ride to the finish.
Certainly could be the case right now. 2 laps to go as issues for Axum. He clatters the wall. Now we're in for a show. Denny, Heilemann to the inside. Slide job. Heilemann almost tries to get it 3 wide across the line. White flag in the air.
Axum got lucky that those 2 tangled. That's what allowed him to get back into it, but they're going to come together.
More contact off of turn 4. Who's going to get $100? It's going to go to Emerson Axum, your winner here at Fairbury.
But I think it's Semmelman. Semmelman gets the 3rd place payout as I think Denny hit the wall on the last corner.
What a fight to the finish. Let's get a look at the replay. There you see them off of turn number 4 with a checkered flag, but they were just, I thought for sure we were going to see more cars up in the air coming to the line.
I thought so too, especially coming down that back stretch, the way those 2 started to tangle. That should have been Denny's to take home since they got into each other that way, but he just took it in too hot and unfortunately went for a tumble.
Certainly so, but with that, it's time to give you your full field rundown as you see Jacob Denny, your pole sitter, unfortunately will come home 6th and up and over on his side, on his roof, back on all 4s. give that landing a 5 for the most part here tonight at Fairbury. But here is your full field rundown. Emerson Axum, your race winner, followed by David Heileman. So for the Heilemaniacs, a good night indeed as he gets the podium finish. Then Austin Sebelman in 3rd position. Felix Roy will come home 4th, followed by Cameron Merriman. The streak ends tonight as he'll come home in 5th. Jacob Denny will come home 6th, followed by Michael Benoit in 7th. Vinny Sansone 8th, followed by Garrett Holsey 9th, and Aiden Berlin rounds out your top 10.
In 11th this evening, it wound up being Carlin Cure with Hayden Harvey in 12th. Eddie Hartley took 13th, last one on the lead lap. Jax Yohn, who started at the very back, came home with 14th, but he was a lap down. Rico Robles finished in 15th with Rusty Kruger in 16th, and Mason Hannigan in P17. Hanley, Grease, Gray round out your fields, pretty much DNFs in the end.
Unfortunate for those drivers, but we will see them back next time. But with that, it is time to talk to your race winner, Emerson Axum, coming up into the booth. Emerson, or actually, no, that's David. Let's talk with David Heileman.
You know who I am? I'm sorry.
Here's Emerson Axum. David was so excited that he decided to jump up in front of our race winner in order to get up and try to get an interview. But let's talk with Emerson first. Emerson, congratulations on your race win tonight, battling with some of the biggest names here tonight, and you were able to hold them off.
I didn't really qualify that good, so, winning my heat race put me in a decent spot and just, set up for mid to late race, and it ended up paying off.
What was your feelings going into those final couple laps with all the contact and the chaos going on about thinking, could you have pulled off this win?
I don't really race much league races, so, this is a pretty big league, so if, I was just happy to be in the position, I wasn't too worried about it.
Well, Emerson, before we let you go and celebrate being $100 richer tonight, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Not really. I guess my dad for buying my simulator, but that's about it.
All right. Well, Emerson Axum, $100 richer here tonight at Fairbury Speedway, taking home the checkered flag as Joe Peak will get with a very excited David Heileman.
Exactly. David from 10th on the grid. That's got to feel like quite the accomplishment. Talk to us about those final laps as well. When it started to come down to contact, what's going through your head?
Well, we shouldn't have even started 10th. Probably should have won our heat race, but, we were playing too nice and we're dealing with wheel issues. Shout out to AccuForce for being the most garbage company that could ever make a wheel ever. Just terrible. Don't recommend. 0 out of 100. Do not get an AccuForce wheel. But other than that, I guess, in the feature, we knew the bottom was going to be good with the reset racetrack, and I do what I always do, and I stuck to it too long. Like a couple guys back by, we were just fortunate they crashed, but by the time we got in 3rd, we were just following them around on the top. Didn't have that great of a race car, couldn't really catch them. Tried to start slagging with Denny there, and then finally Emerson, it looked like he was hitting the wall every time, and that's just, honestly, it's just making good speed. But he finally stuck there, I think, with 2 to go, and then Denny slid him. I think I slid him. I don't know what the hell happened. All I know is I got shoved to the damn infield. About hopped the tire, tried to get, just steal the win there, doing whatever it takes, but it's actually a lot of fun, hard racing. And,
It looked like a lot of fun. Describe to us what it's like trying to find clear space in a quarter-mile track with 19 other cars around you.
A lot of swearing, and a lot of name calling, and then especially under yellows once things slow down a little bit. But yeah, it's basically just especially at the start of a race like this, it's just go wherever they aren't, because at least, whether it's the fast or the slow line, at least you're not going to get caught up in their stuff, hopefully. And that's kind of what we rely on to make our way through a lot of these fields. And yeah, I don't know. The season's been a little ups and downs, I guess. We're racing bi-weekly. Thanks, Brody. But Other than that, I guess, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done an interview, so I'm cherishing this moment with you guys.
Well, we're enjoying it as well. While we got you, who helped put $50 in your pocket this evening?
Oh, yeah. Pays the top three. Sweet. All right. Well, just want to thank House of Speed Setups. We're on our Slick Race setup. You could find the exact one on houseofspeed.us, I think is the, I don't know. Check the Facebook page. Check the YouTube channel. There'll be a video for it doing every week where I suck in these. And also, steal your mom's credit card and buy Game Stonks. We're going to buy someone a race car when it hits 100,000. Mark my words.
David with some advice out there, but that was our second place finisher, the 49 of David Heilman, and I believe, Taylor, you have caught up with our third place finisher, Austin Simmelman.
Yes, indeed. And Austin, you come home in a wild third place finish tonight. Tell us about how your race was going for you tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining there. I had to dodge some cars, dodge some crashes, and kind of pick my way through. So just didn't qualify good as usual. So got to work on that. Just had to start pretty far back and had to be smart and take my chances when I could, but also just protect and take care of my car.
We look ahead to the next track, round 9 at Lernerville. What could you expect going there to see if you can maybe improve upon the position that you have here tonight?
Lernerville's always fun. It's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. It's pretty wide. We can race on it and really run multiple lanes. Like tonight, we were pretty much stuck on the outside the entire feature. So I always like to see a track where you can run different lines, and usually Lernerville provides that. So definitely looking forward to it and happy to run up front.
Well, before we let you go, Austin, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Guys at Tony Stewart Racing, Glenn and John and Eric there for keeping an eye on the feature and helping me out, and of course Brody for putting this deal on, and you guys for being here and letting everybody watch.
Of course, that is Austin Semmelman coming home in third position here tonight, getting a little bit of money, about $25 to take home here tonight. But with that, Joe, final thoughts for you after watching probably one of the most wildest races we've seen this season.
I was just about to say, are they all this crazy? Because, wow, that was intense, just nonstop, which I guess you'd have to expect at a short this track. But hats off to the drivers in that feature, because that, honestly, that went better than expected, if I'm frank.
To be honest, I thought for sure we would have saw more cautions, but for the most part, once we saw that little bit of a cluster of cautions happen, once we got the ball rolling, they were able to keep it clean and green for the most part to where we at least didn't see a caution tonight. But with that, that's of course the life of an outlaw when it comes to dirt sprint car racing, and for that we will see them next time. But we have some great races coming up before we come back to the Dirt Sprint Car Championship, and it all starts tomorrow night, April 22nd, 9 p.m. The eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series heads to the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Catch the action live, 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium eSports. Sunday, April 25th, 9:15, the MPI Cup Series heads to one of the smallest racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, Bristol Motor Speedway. Catch the action once again on 9:15 at twitch.tv/Podium eSports. Then it's the final race of the Anthony Alfredo's eSport Racing League from Auto Club Speedway, April 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Who will win the championship and be having a chance to go against the biggest names in motorsports in Monday Night Racing? And then, of course, on Tuesday, April 27th, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series heads to the Midwest. We are in Kansas this time. Catch the action with pre-races at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/iRacing. For all of you who are fans of sports car racing, the PCA Sim Racing Series, they're back. Series 6 at Road America, April 28th at 8 p.m. Catch the 911 GT3 Cut Cars taking there on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. Before we come back to the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series from Lernerville, May 5th, 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/Podium2. Well, with that, it is time that we come to a close. For Brody Wilhelm at the Dirt Sprint Car Championship, along with James Pike, Cisco Scarmuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium eSports. For my colleagues in the booth, Justin Prince and Joe Peak, and our producer, Ryan Bauer, I'm Taylor Burris. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks from Lernerville.